In last lecture, we discussed about methods of solving problems in commutation. We discussed that there are three methods for solving problems in commutation. First one was brush shifting, second one was commutating poles or interpoles, and third one was compensating bindings. We discussed at length the method of brush shifting for solving problems in commutation, where we finally concluded that brush shifting technique, though to some extent may solve the problem of magnetic neutral plane shift, but cannot solve the problem of flux weakening. In fact, the brush shifting method aggravates the problem of flux weakening. That was the reason that brush shifting method is used only for motors of very small rating. Let's come to the second method today, that is commutating poles. Also called as interpoles. In the last few lectures, we discussed that in real DC machines, whenever there is a current flow through the armature produces a field of its own, which tends to distort the main magnetic field in the machine, known as armature reaction. Because of the armature reaction, there are two effects. One is the shifting of magnetic neutral plane, and second is the flux weakening. Normally, when there is no current through the machine, these two conductors, I will call this as A and I will call this as A prime. A and A prime are lying along the magnetic neutral plane. There will be dot under the north pole for anti-clockwise rotation. There will be cross under the south pole for anti-clockwise rotation. This is for the magnetic neutral plane. When the current flows through the armature, the shift of the magnetic neutral plane that we have already discussed. Let's suppose this is new magnetic neutral plane. Old and this is new. So when this is new magnetic neutral plane, conductors to the right of this or region to the right of this belongs to the south pole. So this is south pole and this is north pole. Similarly here, this side is south pole, this side is north pole. Initially, when there was no current through the armature, conductor A and conductor A prime were lying along the magnetic neutral plane. So voltage induced in this conductor was 0, voltage induced in this conductor was 0. Brushes were placed such that they were short-circuiting this coil A and A prime when the voltage across this was 0. But now, because of the armature reaction, when conductor A and A prime are lying along this plane, commutator segments connected to A and A prime are being short-circuited by the brushes, but the voltage induced in A and A prime is not 0. There is a finite voltage in A and A prime. So how can we solve this? The first method we discussed. The second method is, since this end comes under the south pole, so this will have a cross polarity. If we use a small magnetic pole over here, a small magnetic pole over here, since this conductor comes under south pole, so initially when this was in the magnetic neutral plane, the flux through this was 0, or magnetic flux density through this was 0, induced EMF was 0. But now this comes under the south pole. If we use a pole over here, what you call as interpole, which has a polarity opposed to this. This has polarity south, let's suppose this has polarity north. Similarly, this has polarity north, let's suppose this has polarity south. These interpoles will generate a flux which will link this conductor A. Conductor A already has a flux because of the south pole. Now if this conductor A will have a flux because of the north pole, this induces EMF in this will induce a EMF in this. But since this is rotating in anti-clockwise direction, EMF induced in A because of this south pole and EMF induced in A because of this north pole, they will cancel out each other. So voltage induced in this is 0. Similarly, this is under the north pole. If we have this interpole of south pole polarity, this will induce voltage opposite to voltage induced by the north pole. So net voltage induced in this conductor A prime is 0. Now if commutator segments connected to A and A prime are being short circuited at this position by a brush, there won't be any sparking problems. Why? Because there is no voltage induced. Net voltage in A and A prime is 0. This is how we can use interpoles to solve the problem of brush sparking. So interpoles or small magnetic poles placed between the main poles directly above the conductors, undergoing commutation. Directly under the poles, above the conductors undergoing commutation. However, in order for these interpoles not to interfere with the overall magnetic flux in the machine, are you getting me? These interpoles should only change the magnetic flux through this conductor which is undergoing commutation. This shouldn't impact the magnetic flux through this conductor, all other conductors. So these interpoles are small. And affect flux through only the conductors undergoing commutation. Fine. Now the third point, polarity of interpoles. What should be the polarity of interpoles? From our earlier lectures, we already know that in case of a generator, the magnetic neutral plane shifts in the direction of rotation. Since this is direction of rotation omega, this was initial magnetic neutral plane, now this is new magnetic neutral plane. New magnetic neutral plane is shifted in the direction of rotation for generators. and magnetic neutral plane shifts in a direction opposite the direction of rotation for motors. Here we have drawn the case of a generator. Now what should be polarity of these interpoles? Now this is the new magnetic neutral plane, and this conductor is coming under now south pole. But we want the flux or net flux through this, or net EMF through this conductor should be 0. Already this conductor is under south pole, so we want this conductor should have a flux of the north pole, so we use here a polarity of north pole. Similarly, this conductor is already under south pole, that is, this has flux corresponding, this has EMF corresponding to north pole. We want to induce EMF in this corresponding to south pole so that the net EMF is 0. So we use here a south pole. Then what should be the polarity of interpole here? What should be the polarity of interpole here? The polarity of interpole should be of a pole ahead of the conductor. This conductor is in south pole. What is the polarity of pole ahead of this conductor? That is north pole. They should have north pole. Similarly for this conductor, what is the polarity of pole ahead of this conductor? That is south pole. So this should have a south pole polarity over here. Fine. Now there's one more question. We already discussed that this magnetic neutral plane or armature reaction effect depends upon the current through the armature, or depends upon the load current. That means if this generator is supplying more load, there will be more armature reaction. So this axis will shift more. There will be more shift in the axis. So this will be further under the south pole. In order to cancel the voltage in this conductor, which is now further inside the south pole, so this has more flux of the south pole. So flux of this north pole should also be more in order to cancel. The flux of this north pole should ideally be equal to the flux of south pole, so that net EMF induced is 0 over here. Now as load increases, neutral plane shifts more. When it shifts more, this is further inside the south pole, so this has more flux of the south pole. This north pole strength should increase. This should produce a flux whose strength should increase and becomes equal to strength of the flux due to south pole, so that net flux induced here is 0. So how do we ensure that flux produced by this is equivalent to the armature reaction flux, so that net flux induced here is 0? How do we ensure this? In order to account for this, these interpoles, north pole as well as south pole, they are connected to the armature. These are supplied from the armature. If this is suppose a commutators of machine, these are brushes, say, they are being supplied you connect load on the side. So these interpoles are being supplied from the armature itself. How does that solve the problem? When they are connected to the armature itself, suppose you connect a load to this machine which is drawing more current. When this load draws more current, so this armature is supplying more current. When armature supplies more current, so armature magnetic field is more, so armature reaction is more. So magnetic neutral plane shifts more. So this is deep inside the south pole. So in order to cancel the effect of the south pole induced voltage over here, you need north pole whose strength is more now. How do you ensure strength is more? Since I have connected this north pole in series with the armature, when armature current increases, current through this north pole increases. When current through this north pole increases, so flux of this north pole increases. EMF induced in this conductor because of north pole increases, which exactly cancels the EMF because of the south pole. Similarly, when load current decreases, over here, armature reaction decreases. Armature reaction decreases means EMF induced in this because of south pole decreases. So you want that north pole induced EMF in this should also decrease. How does that decrease? Since you have connected this north pole in series with the armature, then armature current decreases, flux due to north pole decreases, so EMF induced here decreases. Thus you exactly balance. EMF induced here because of north pole is equal to EMF induced because of south pole. Net EMF induced here is 0. So when commutator segments connected to A and A prime are being short circuited by the brush at this position, there won't be any sparks. Why? Because voltage induced in conductor A and A prime is already 0. This is how you connect. This shows how you connect interpoles to armature. Interpoles are connected in series with armature winding. So here you need not to adjust anything. You need not to adjust the brushes, nothing. Fine. But there's a catch over here. These interpoles only solve the problem of magnetic neutral plane shift. What about the problem of flux weakening? If you could remember, that flux weakening problem was here under the poles. That has nothing to do with interpoles. That was because of these conductors over here and because of these conductors over here. Remember this? You can refer to previous lectures. Here it is subtracting, here it is adding. So this is flux weakening. There is a flux weakening. This commutating poles does not solve the problem of flux weakening. This does not solve the problem of flux weakening. However, this effectively solves the problem of magnetic neutral plane shifts and hence the circulating current in the commutating winding in the conductors undergoing commutation. Let's move on to third method of solving this problem. The third method that can help us solve this problem is known as compensating windings. Look what we do in compensating windings. You have a rotor structure and we have pole, main field poles. So this is north pole, this is south pole. We found out that in last class These conductors under the North Pole will have dot polarity for anticlockwise rotation, and these will have cross for the same anticlockwise direct rotation. What is the main cause of the armature reaction? Main cause of the armature reaction is the magnetic field produced by these conductors. Normally this field would have been main field would have been like this. But because of these conductors, you will have another field, what is known as armature field. Since this is current out of the plane of page, so this is anti-clockwise. And this is clockwise. This is basically what causes armature reaction. Then the armature reaction causes magnetic neutral plane shift and flux weakening. Then how does the compensating winding solve this method? In the previous case of interpoles or commutating poles, we use interpoles over here and we use interpoles over here. These interpoles ensured that the voltage induced in this conductor and this conductor was zero when they were being commutated from one pole to next pole. What compensating windings do? They do not go for cosmetic treatments. They solve the problem at its core. What they basically do, they fix the problem of armature reaction itself. What did commutating poles do? Commutating poles solved one of the problems that was caused by armature reaction, that was magnetic neutral plane shift. They couldn't solve the problem of flux weakening. What compensating windings do? They solve the problem of armature reaction itself. Now, what are basically compensating windings and how do they solve this problem? I'll draw another figure here. This is cross, cross and cross. This is dot, dot and dot. Remember this for anti-clockwise direction of rotation. North pole, south pole. Compensating windings are basically windings buried inside the poles of a DC machine. These are windings, or these are conductors buried inside the poles, main poles of a DC machine. What does that solve? How does that solve the problem? The direction of current in these windings or in these conductors is opposite to the direction of current here. So this is cross, this is cross, this is cross, this is dot, this is dot, this is dot. Here we saw that these three dot, dot and dot conductors will produce a flux which is in anti-clockwise direction. these cross and cross, these conductors will produce a flux which is in clockwise direction. Which is in clockwise direction. Since they are very close to each other, because air gap is a very small space between the two, they tend to exactly cancel the effect of each other. Same thing happens on this side. They cancel the effect of armature reaction at each and every point. When there is no armature reaction, there won't be magnetic neutral plane shift. Neither will there be flux weakening. So it basically solves both the problems. Now we neither have problem of magnetic neutral plane shift nor we have a problem of flux weakening. Similarly, since this armature reaction or magnetic field due to armature currents is a function of the armature current, more the armature current, more the magnetic field, less the armature current, less the magnetic field. How does it take care of this thing? Again, these compensating windings which are buried inside the pole faces of a DC machine, these are being fed directly from the armature currents itself. That means when armature current increases, armature reaction is more. But when armature current increases, this current through the compensating winding is also more, which will produce more flux, which will exactly cancel the flux produced by the armature conductors. Are you getting me? What I mean to say here is, we connect the compensating windings in series with the armature, so that when armature current increases, which increases the armature reaction, that also increases the flux in the compensating windings or magnetic field of compensating windings, which exactly compensates the armature reaction, which exactly cancels the armature reaction. Thus the only flux that remains in the machine is the main flux. This is north, this is south. The only flux that stays in the machine is the main flux. There is no armature reaction. Now what about this L di by dt effect? If you could remember, we discussed that since the current, whenever the conductors are under the south pole, current is flowing in one direction, then this conductor moves and comes under the north pole, the current direction basically reverses. And this reversal of current takes place in a very small time. So there is large di divided by dt. And if there is a small inductance, even if there is a small inductance L associated with that winding, so this produces a huge voltage L di by dt. That means when you want to switch a conductor when a conductor is moving from south pole to north pole, because of the change in direction of current, because of the change in direction of current, there are voltage induced in it, what you call as inductive kick or L di by dt voltage. These are regardless of the armature reaction. Armature reaction has nothing to do with it. These L di by dt voltages are effectively solved by using interpoles. Interpoles effectively solve the problem of L di by dt voltage. Solve the problem of L di by dt voltage. How? Since when conductor wants to moves from south pole to north pole, there's the reversal of current over here. This induced voltage opposing the L di by dt voltage, opposing the voltage because of inductive kick, such that there is no voltage induced in the conductors and there is no sparking. These compensating windings solve the problem under poles only, that is, they solve the problem of armature reaction only. So in machines where you use compensating windings to solve the problem of armature reaction, they invariably have interpoles connected to them. But in machines which have compensating windings to solve the problem of armature reaction, in those machines, interpoles will only have to solve the problem of L di by dt voltage. But in machines which does not have compensating windings, in those machines, interpoles have to solve the problem of magnetic neutral plane shift as well as L di by dt voltage. Thus, in machines which have compensating windings, you also have interpoles to solve the problem of L di by dt voltage. However, you should keep one thing in mind, that in such machines, the strength of these interpoles does not have to be as strong as in the machines which are without compensating windings. Fine. So this finishes the problems of commutation and the methods of solving problems of commutation. In next lecture, we'll directly move on to different types of DC motors and generators.